What's going on, my dudes? This is Mr. Gardner and this is Math Time with Mr. G. Today we're going to learn how to graph using slope-intercept form. The equation for it is going to be y equals mx plus b. It's a lot of letters, but let's talk about what each one means. Y is my output. So that's what I get. Picture you went to work, you work several hours, what do you get? You get a paycheck at the end. M has lots of different names. It's known as slope, rate of change, rise over run. It's also known as our up if it's a positive value, our down if it's a negative value, and always to the right. We never go left with slope, and we'll talk about where we go in a little bit, but we never go left. X is my input, and this is my, what do I have to do? You go to work, what do you have to do at work to get paid? It's the action that you're doing to get your output. And a lot of times, this is time. You have to go to work for so many hours for me to pay you. B is my y-intercept. And that's where do I start? That can be how much money is already in your bank account. That could be how many hours you're going to work. But it's where do I start? So another way to view this is M is how much I move, and B is where I begin. The first thing I do though, no matter what the equation is, I'm going to label this the y-axis, the x-axis, and I always do positives first, and then the bottom and the left are my negatives. So I'm going to do that for both graphs real quick. This just helps me get organized and know which direction I want to start in. So if I were to give you the equation, begin with this back number, and it says -7. Well, before I told you this back number, this B, is the y-intercept. That means on this y-axis, I'm going to go down to -7. I'm going to make a dot right there. There's my first dot. So this first letter is one number. This M, move, is going to be my second dot. So beginning with the dot I have, I'm going to move from it. This is where my slope comes into play. This top number is either up or down. And if it's positive, it's up. If it's negative, it's down. So I have a positive 4, so I'm going to go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And to the right, 5. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's my line. So just to double check one more time, I started at -7. I went up 1, 2, 3, 4. And I went to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, let's do another example where I have on the y-axis at 1, and that's my y-intercept. And this negative tells me to go down 3. So 1, 2, 3. And then always to the right, never to the left, even if it's negative, always to the right. I'm going to go to the right 2. So there's my second dot. 2 numbers, 2 dots, connect them, draw arrows, and let's just review. I started at my y-intercept of 1, I went down 1, 2, 3, and then over 1, 2, down 3, over 2. Well, Mr. Garner, you said with a fraction, there is no fraction here. If there's no fraction, we have to put a 1 under it. So I'm going to begin by labeling my axis. Then this is my begin number at +3. And it says to go up 2 and over 1. My slope right here is positive. And a positive slope, we always read from left to right. And if I'm reading this from left to right, it's going up, and up is positive. I'm going to label my graph, and I'm going to begin with my y-intercept, which is -1. There's no fraction for my slope, so I have to create a fraction and go over 1. And this says to go down 3. So there's 3 more down, so I'm at -4, and then to the right 1. Well, my slope was negative, and we always read our slope going from left to right. So reading this from left to right, that's going down. Two very unique special ones. So normally our equation is y equals mx plus b. What if I just give you y is equal to 2? There's no x, there's no m, it's just 2. So again, I'm just going to label my graph. Start at y is 2. But there's no movement up or down. So I'm just going to draw a line straight across. If there's no up or down and it's just flat, I'm going to say that that's no slope. 1. What if it's super weird and there's no y at all and it just says x is equal to 5? I'm going to label my graph and then go to where x is 5. And this is the only time we don't start on the y-axis, is when it says x equals. And because it will never cross the y-axis because it's x equals, I'm just going to go straight up and straight down. And because it never crosses the y-axis, and because there is no slope to it, we call it undefined. Alright, if you guys have any questions, hit me up in the comment section. But other than that, be kind to each other, ask lots of questions, and think deeply.